Hey there, Vanessa Green, and I'm not talking about football, but I am talking about being defensive this upcoming cold and flu season. We're getting ready to enter that, and I just want to talk about how the best defense is a good offense. And yeah, I'll be referring to my notes today. But I've got a lot that I want to cover real quick. I've got 5 tips, and I want to try to make this video as short as possible. So, basically, I want to talk about building up our immune system and being proactive instead of being reactive. I mean, we still may need to be a little reactive, but why don't we try to be proactive and help our body help itself by building up our body's immune system before we go into this cold and flu season. Cold and flu season, kind of the time between Halloween and Easter even. And why is it? The days are shorter, so we have less sunlight available to us. You know, you need to get out in the sun every single day. It helps to build vitamin D into our body. Although in my part of the country, I'm in Indiana in the United States, and the angle that the sun is to us is just not really conducive for producing the best amount of vitamin D. So it's highly recommended that really everybody in this part of the world supplement with a quality vitamin D, and I'll go into that later. What else? The days, I already said the days are shorter, so less sunshine. The days are colder. We're starting to get into the colder season, and more people are going to be spending time indoors. So that just means more stale recycled air instead of fresh air. Again, less sunshine, and then less sun exposure. So we're just going to be inside our little boxes more instead of being outside. And so that's not good for our immune system. More sugar in our diet. Yeah, it happens. What's the fun thing that everybody's talking about right now this time of the year? Let's see, it's late September. We're getting ready to enter October, the fall season. What am I seeing? Everybody talking about pumpkin spice this, pumpkin spice that, especially pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks. Do you realize how much sugar is in those? I hate to be a party pooper. I really do. This glass represents a 12 ounce, which is a tall. So look at this. This is how much sugar is in that. It's about 2.5 tablespoons of sugar in that 12 ounces. That's a lot. Really, honestly, we don't need any added sugar in our diet. And when I say added, I mean added to a box or something like that. Fruit, things like that is good, but added sugar, like if you think about your day, did you have a pumpkin spice latte to start it out? Did you have sugary cereal? And then what about that flavored yogurt maybe you're going to have for lunch? Or that ketchup on your hamburger? That's added sugar. What about maybe in the afternoon you had a bottle of Gatorade or pop? What about on break when you have that Snickers bar? And then after dinner, you're going to have a piece of chocolate cake or, a Little Debbie or something. All of that adds up. And our bodies aren't meant to handle that much sugar. Anyway, what does sugar do to our immune system? Well, I was going to say, too, that the time between Halloween and Easter, what are we doing? Besides just our daily intake of sugar, this time of year, we're going into lots of extra sugar. We've got our fall parties, we've got Halloween and trick-or-treating, lots of extra sugar, the lattes, marshmallows, s'mores, campfires. We've got Thanksgiving feasts. Overeating is kind of another issue. Christmas goodies in our stocking, Valentine's candy, Easter basket candy, candy, sugar, sugar, sugar. What does that do? That puts our immune system to sleep, basically. It causes it to be sluggish and to slow way down. The majority of our immune system is in our gut. And when we take on that much sugar, it just really is not good for our gut. So having good gut health is also really important for our immune system. And now as I'm thinking, I should have added that as another tip. But tip number one is cut way back as much as you can on the added sugar. Start taking notice. Start reading your ingredient list on all of your foods and looking up things. Like you can look up Starbucks pumpkin spice latte nutrition facts, and it will pull that right up for you. And you can change the size. You can see how much sugar and what all they put in it. And that probably is true for everything. You know, your McDonald's Coke, my McDonald's Coke, although I haven't had any in a while. I just really can't hardly drink them anymore. I go in spurts, but right now I'm on a good spurt and I'm not drinking any Coke. Okay, tip number two, eat real foods. We have to cut out the process, the boxes. That isn't only going to help. We need to get color in our diet, not artificial color, but real color. A simple dinner, chicken breast, broccoli, and steamed broccoli, and a baked sweet potato. That is so easy, and that's, you know, fewer ingredients. All you have chicken, broccoli, and bacon. That's 3 ingredients. That's your meal. And so the less or the fewer ingredients, the healthier, you know, and that real food, fresh food, it's just going to help our bodies. That's what we were designed for. That's the way God created us. So it doesn't know what to do with all of that other extra, all the preservatives and everything else. It just wreaks havoc on our system. Okay, so real food with lots of color. Stay away from maybe more pastas and breads. Remember, the longer the shelf life, the shorter our life. So if it has, I buy real milk now, real, fresh, straight from the cow, unpasteurized dairy. It only lasts, a gallon lasts about 10 days. With that said, I could turn that into something else, and one of these days I probably will hopefully learn how to do that. But we drink it. I drink more milk now than I've ever drank in my life because it's so good. It's real. It's the way God designed it to be. Anyway, okay, tip number 2, eat real food. Tip number 1 was try to eliminate as much sugar as you can from your diet. And then tip number 2, eat real food. With that said, tip number 3 is to take good quality supplements. Because let's face it, we're not going to probably eat real food all the time, every day. And even if we did, some of our food is getting lower and lower and the quality is lower. So we need to add in quality vitamins and minerals. That's what our body, think of your body, don't think about it anymore as this unit. Whoops. Think about it as at the cellular level, because that's what we're doing. We're feeding our cells. So I want you to think about what you're feeding your cells, and they need vitamins and minerals and all these elements for the basic functions that they need to carry out. So take a quality supplement that's highly bioavailable. That just means that your body can use it, and that you're not peeing neon green pee, meaning that you're flushing out a bunch. Synthetic vitamins are just not as utilized in our bodies as we would like them to be. So if you're buying those, you might be just wasting your money. How can you tell? Well, one way is by, the list. So one thing that I look at is folate or folic acid, and I was kind of turned on to this because I have a small gene mutation that causes my body not to process that as well, which it's kind of common. But anyway, if it says folate, that means it's the natural form. If it says folic acid, that means that it is synthetic. So that's just something to look at. And so if that's synthetic, what else might be synthetic in there? And I'm sure there's ways to tell, vitamin A, vitamin D, all the things, thiamine. But that's like something that I look for. Okay, so speaking of supplements, quality, so you need a good, well-rounded supplement regimen. But with that, you really, really, really need vitamin D. Vitamin D is so, so important. And like I said, especially in this part of the country, most people are chronically low and they don't even know it. So I highly encourage you to go get your numbers tested. Know your numbers. It's very important. I don't recommend that anybody start supplementing or higher dosing on particular things unless they know their level and they're working with their healthcare practitioner. So I'm working with my nurse practitioner, and as I have, all these years with my different practitioners, but my vitamin D is constantly low. So she actually she prescribed me this higher dose. I take it once a day. Once a week. I take my daily stuff. Still, I'm taking about 11,000 IU daily, and then I take this 50,000 IU weekly. So we're going to see if hopefully that gets my levels up. Vitamin D actually acts more like a hormone in our body. And we actually have in every cell in our body, almost, and I think that when I look it up, it says nearly every cell, if not all cells in our body. I think they just don't know yet. But of all the cells they've looked at, they all have vitamin D receptors. And vitamin D acts as a hormone, and hormones are messengers, and messengers tell our different cells what they need to do, how they need to perform. And so to get the best performance out of your cells, you need that vitamin D telling it what to do. I really highly encourage you to really, really expand your knowledge and educate yourself about all the benefits of vitamin D, from dementia to cancer prevention, just all the things. So when I talk about levels, my level is usually in the 50s, and my nurse practitioner would love to see that above 80. So that's my goal. We're trying to get above 80. I've been in the 60s one time, and I get my levels checked at least 2 to 3 times a year. So there's that. You can go do that on your own at any standalone lab. I know here in Indianapolis area, there's a company called Any Labs Now, and I frequent their doors quite a bit. So there's that. Just vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. I don't know, did I already say about, in this part of the country, my nurse practitioner said everyone in Indiana should be on 10,000 international units per day. And it has to do with the angle of the sun and where we sit on the earth, and really anybody above us should definitely be on a vitamin D supplement. Okay, so that's tip number 3, quality supplements, especially vitamin D. Vitamin D, I was going to say too that I tested my family, my sons, my daughter-in-law. I haven't tested my husband yet. I just haven't got around to it. Oh, you can also mail away for tests. There's a company called Everlywell, and they'll mail you a little thing, and you do a finger prick, and then you can send it off and get your results. I think it's about $45. I don't remember. But my daughter-in-law was in the 30s. My sons, one of them, or maybe both of them, were in the very low 30s. One was even in the high 20s. That is really dangerously low. So I just want them to realize that they need to stay on top of that. Okay, tip number 1, reduce your sugar. Tip number 2 was eat real foods. Tip number 3, quality supplementation, especially vitamin D. Tip number 4, stay well hydrated. Your cells, also to do their work and to move and function properly, they need the correct amount of moisture, of water, fluid inside the cells. And one of the ways to do that is with salt. I don't mean table salt. I don't mean the little girl with the umbrella Morton salt. I mean real salt. I get this Redmond salt. It comes from Utah, from the salt mines. And this is because it has minerals in it. So we need all of those minerals to regulate. So everything is better the way God designed it. When we start pulling things apart, it breaks up the balance. God designed things in perfect balance for us. So we don't want to ever isolate. It's just not as good when we isolate things. So table salt is made in a factory, and it's just, I think, potassium chloride and sodium, and that's it. You don't get the minerals to help balance it out. So when doctors tell you to lower your salt intake, it's all that processed salt, and that's in all your processed foods too. Those are very high in your salt content. So maybe start using this real salt instead, because that helps bring it all in balance, and to help keep things more balanced, it's going to help with keeping proper blood pressures, to help just to help stabilize things. So balance, all about balance. The fancy word is called homeostasis. Our body is constantly trying to stay in homeostasis. Okay, so real salt, I think I mentioned that. Cells. Okay, and then last but not least, and really the star of our show, I want to talk about On Guard. Yes, I love doTERRA. I love doTERRA's oils. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why, but quality is very important. Consistency. doTERRA's blend of On Guard. It's called the Protective Blend. What are we talking about? We're talking about being protective of our immune systems and proactive, and we want to help to upregulate our immune system and help that. So antioxidants. Have you heard about antioxidants? Well, this blend contains clove bud, the essential oils of clove bud, cinnamon leaf, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus leaf, rosemary leaf, and wild orange. And it's a proprietary blend, and it's those oils are they have different properties, different chemical constituents that make up those oils. They're very high in monoterpenes. And so that makes them very antiviral and very immunostimulative and very high in antioxidant properties. So I have so many people that swear by this oil. I've had customers, and I'm not making claims. I'm not telling you that if you use this oil, it's going to cure or prevent anything, really, technically. But I do believe it will help to complement your immune system and to support it in a healthy way. I have had friends tell me, and they swear by this oil, different client testimonies, including kids with MRSA, where they've had good support with helping their bodies to heal, to overcome that situation. Molluscum, which are little warts that kids get, and a lot of times it's a horrible, painful treatment, but using the On Guard, they were able to eliminate that. Strep throat, meningitis. I even had a friend who their little boy was hospitalized, and she was told the recovery was going to be super long, and yet came home from convention. That was the very first convention I ever went to, and they had lots of studies and supportive things about the On Guard, and I went home so excited. And when I saw that Facebook, that she had her little boy, she had just brought him home, and talking about how long the recovery was going to be, I went to her doorstep, gave her the On Guard. I was so excited, and she was so excited to use it, and his recovery time was so short. Anyway, so it's very, very helpful. I've had other friends tell me that everybody around them's sick, and because they use this every day, they just don't seem to get sick like their friends. So again, everything goes into helping to build our immune system. But ways that you can use this oil, you can use it aromatically, which means you could put it in a diffuser, or you can just rub it in your hands and breathe it in. Breathe it in every day. You can use it topically. So like I said, some of those skin conditions where people needed extra support in ridding themselves of that, they used it topically. You can mix it with fractionated coconut oil, and that will help it to stay in the tissue longer. It also, On Guard has cinnamon and the rosemary and different things, and the clove, and it could be hot. It could be like a hot oil, to where if you put it directly on your skin, it's going to burn a little bit. So you always want to use a carrier oil when you use your On Guard. And then internally, this oil is safe for internal use. So you would want to use 1 drop per every 4 ounces of water, and you can drink that water. You can drink it down, or you could gargle with it. Say if you're having something in your throat where it needs extra support, You would want to gargle with that. You could swallow it or spit it out. Rinsing, doing a mouth rinse. So all those things. So On Guard is such a very popular blend with doTERRA. We have so many products, from our toothpaste, which my baby twin grandbabies love this toothpaste. They love brushing their teeth, and it's super safe. It's fluoride free. It doesn't have any warning label. You know, some toothpaste, most toothpaste out there on the market have a warning label. Do not swallow. You know, anyway, we've got mouthwash. We've got household cleaner. This is great. It's super affordable too. This concentrate cleaner, and you can clean all your doorknobs and countertops and everything, and just keep things at bay. We've got throat lozenges. We've got hand soap, foaming hand soap. It's great. It doesn't have the triclosan, which is a poison that we don't want. So we want to help our bodies with as few toxins as possible and as many natural things created by God. He created these things to work synergistically with our bodies. You know, it's like these two hands that fit together. He made the plant and animal kingdom for us to help to support our bodies. So anyway, I hope that is super helpful for you, and I hope that you will take action and be proactive with supporting your body as we go into this cold and flu season, the wintertime here in Indiana. Try to still get outside as much as you can. Breathe in all the fresh air. We're getting essential oils when we're outside because the leaves and the bark, it's, you know, all of that is emitting in the air, and we're breathing that in. So try to get outside as much as possible, even in the wintertime. It's just nice to get fresh air. Stay away from the sugar. Stay hydrated. Use your On Guard and do all the things. Take care. Stay healthy. Love you all. Bye-bye.